10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a beach the bar, underground methods, top-notch hoes, get the most at the door. Right to bar, product of your eyebrows. Pushing country, baby, got that product you can measure. Run center, the one who got the winner. It's moving while I'm moving around the country. Rolling through the city with
So for the past couple of years, we've been living in a very interesting time for short form content. And it's been really fascinating watching a lot of big brands in the industry struggle to keep up with the times. While on the other hand, a lot of smaller startup companies have really capitalized on the opportunity to go viral. People have basically been able to hack the algorithm in order to go viral. It's almost like we're living in a real life version of that movie Moneyball, except instead of baseball, it's now social media. Now, one part of that is terrible clickbait and hooks that one part of me is not a fan of, and I don't think I really respect it from a creative and artistic perspective. But on the other hand, I also appreciate the hustle and the use of it from smaller companies to actually be able to compete with the bigger companies that have infinite marketing budgets. So as a smaller company, you pretty much don't have a choice but to do it. It's kind of leveled the playing fields for both better and for worse. This is gonna be such a sick time lapse. So in this video, we're gonna shoot a bunch of different reels on relatively affordable equipment, like a phone or a GoPro, just to show that you don't actually need the most fancy or expensive gear to create cool content. So for this first concept, we're gonna shoot a speed ramping video. You might have seen this style online. It's very popular at the moment, and it makes something pretty mundane look pretty awesome. Like, look at this video of a shopping cart. I mean, when has a shopping cart ever looked this cool? So for this concept, we're gonna film it all with the phone, and there's kind of two key things that are really important when filming this. First key thing is you need to have a focal point in your video. So in this case, I put a sticker on the laptop here, and that's gonna be my focal point when filming. The second thing is that when you're filming, you need to keep this focal point in the center of your video the entire time. It's not perfect, a gimbal would be a lot easier, but I'm trying to show that you can just do it on something like a phone, and then we're gonna stabilize it all using motion tracking in After Effects. But having a focal point is super, super important to executing this as well as we want to. I'm gonna sit over here and David's gonna pan around me using the phone, shooting 4K 60 in wide angle. I'm gonna be working behind the laptop right now, and David's just gonna move all around me. We get a bunch of different shots. We'll move to the next location and just repeat the process over and over again. All right, we're gonna jump on the Asus now and hop into After Effects and put this whole edit together. Now, if I was going to try walk you guys through this editing process, it would probably take another 5 to 10 minutes. So instead, I'm just gonna link the editing tutorial that I watched down in the description below. So one little secret tip I found that all the speed ramping tutorials seem to leave out is ensuring that your focal point, so in this case, the green or pink sticker we put on the Asus, is in the exact same spot from one clip to the next when you're editing. So what I do is I create a little center point in After Effects, and I make sure that every focal point from every video lines up with that little dot. And that way the focal point doesn't move in the entire video. So when you watch back the full edit now, you'll see that the focal point from each clip remains in the exact same location on the video. And that's what makes the video look so smooth. So if you see some of the better speed ramping videos online, the focal point doesn't change from one clip to the other. Whereas if they're not done so well, it kind of moves around and it's not as easy to watch. So I felt like that was something worth mentioning. And here is the final result.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. Hot key, keep a horn on me, that my seat.
I think something a lot of companies struggle with today is when they treat social media the same way they would traditional media, like TV, billboards, and magazines. The brands that have really found success in social media are the ones that have taken a different approach, prioritizing something like either entertainment or education, depending on the product or service. Because at the end of the day, when you're on social media, most likely because you're bored, you're busy scrolling down the feed, you're not looking for an advert to watch. You're looking to be entertained or maybe even educated. So that's why in today's video, we're going to try create content for brands in an entertaining way. Because people mustn't feel like they're watching an ad. Otherwise, they're just gonna skip to the next thing, because you can do that on social media. You couldn't do that in the past with traditional media. Now, usually I would say, don't try and make a video too product focused, because then it immediately feels like an ad. But I want to try challenge that narrative as much as I can in this video, especially for this next concept. For the next video, we're shooting for a company called Pargo. They make these epic insulated water bottles. So I put a GoPro adhesive mount on the bottom, and we're gonna clip in little carbon fiber boom mounts. And so we're gonna put the ultra wide lens on the GoPro and then mount it on the water bottle, just like this. We're gonna keep the GoPro in the standard lens mode and basically just shoot a full-on circle. This way in post-production, we can either crop the video for landscape or portrait. And then we'll have to edit out this little guy in After Effects, which will probably be a pretty tedious process if I'm honest. Now, this is a very product-oriented shot, but I'm hoping all the footage we get will be entertaining enough that we'll make a pretty cool concept for social media. So now I guess I'm just gonna set this rig up on a bunch of different adventures for the next couple of weeks, stack a bunch of clips, and once I feel like I've got enough footage, we'll jump on the Asus and put it all together. Oh, nothing like a little bit of an airport layover to get some editing done. I'm gonna jump on the Asus ProArt right now and get started on this video. Okay, just finished editing the Pargo video. It was super tedious. I had to export every single frame individually into Photoshop and then Photoshop the boom mount out in every single frame. It was about 250 in total. It took forever, but I think it was worth doing. I did that because I couldn't really get the result I wanted in After Effects, but I think it was worth it. So here is the final video. Okay, so for this next little video, we're gonna do a match cut transition. Now, I've done something like this a couple times in the past, and when done properly, it's really effective. So this video is actually for a swimwear brand, but because what we're filming is only being released in 2025, I can't show it in this video. So we're still gonna shoot the same concept, just without showing the product, just to show you guys how we do it in the video. So what's gonna happen is Regan is gonna take this dive mask and she's gonna stand in different locations and just stand like this and lift it up to her face. And as she's doing that, we're gonna go and shoot it in all different locations, match it with the music, and then match cut her across each scene so she's framed perfectly. And then by the time the mask comes up to her face, we'll transition to then a shot of her with the mask on underwater, and we'll put in some free diving clips. So the trick with this shot is to actually stand further back than you think. So that way when you frame your subject, you have a bit more room around them than you actually need. That way, if you don't frame them perfectly, you can quite easily adjust it in post-production. All right, back in the hotel room now, we're gonna jump straight into Premiere, put this edit all together, just line up every shot so we get a perfect match cut. And here is the final edit.
Can I call you Rose?
All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up for this week's video. I hope you guys learned a couple of things, found it insightful. Big shout out again to Asus for sponsoring the video. This little ProArt P16 is an absolute weapon of a laptop. It's been really cool traveling with it, playing around with it for the last couple of weeks. Always love working with Asus. They just give me so much creative freedom. We get to do a bunch of really cool things. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one. Yee!